In this video, I will be showing you how to add a payable that is not allocated to any borrowers. So we come into Transactions, Payable Entry, Add Payable. Once this form pops up, we select the company and then we tab into the LX type. We'll go ahead and choose the appropriate LX type and then tab out. And you'll notice I'm getting a prompt asking me, will this be allocated to a single borrower? If it's allocated to one borrower, you hit yes. If it's allocated to multiple borrowers or no borrowers, you hit no. Now we're up in the vendor input box and we select our proper vendor and we tab down to the invoice number field. Every payable does require that you use an invoice number. So we'll go ahead and put that in. And then we tab again into the payee field, which is actually a joint payee field, and we'll print a second name on the check. I tab through because we're just going to have one name on the check, into the description field, and then I can put in my description here. All right, the post date is when we want it recorded in the general ledger, and we'll go ahead and put that in the June. And the vendor date is what the vendor has put at the top of the invoice. We tab into due date, and that's when we would like to pay the invoice by. We go ahead and tab out, and then we get this prompt here that tells us only fill in bank code, disbursement type, and check number if this invoice has already been paid with a manual or hand check. I'm going to go ahead because I want it to be an open invoice that I print a check against later. I'm going to leave them blank and tab down into the control total and put in the total amount of the invoice. We go ahead and we tab up again and get into GL number. And if we know the number, we can start typing it in. If we know the name of the account but not the number, we can go ahead and click on top of the description column there and start typing in the name of the account. Once we find the GL we want, we can go ahead and select that, put in the amount, and tab down to this last column here. And this question mark means, is this row allocated to one or multiple borrowers? It is not, so we simply leave it no, and then tab down to the next row, and then we can either hit OK to save it. We can hit single check, which will save it, and then make sure that when we print a check for this invoice, that no other invoices from this vendor are combined up on that check. Or you can go ahead and click on InstaCheck, which will bypass the pick invoices for payment function and take you right into the right check screen. We're going to go ahead and hit OK. And that's how you add an invoice that is allocated to no borrowers.